Howdy doobie, Fort Worth, Texas. My name is Shaun McAlister, and I have served as the Executive Director of DFW NORML since 2011. I was born and raised right here in North Texas, and I have dedicated a significant portion of my life over the last 3 years to fighting the costly, unjust, and ineffective failure known as the war on drugs. During this time, I've spoken to thousands of our fellow citizens, medical professionals, law enforcement officers, attorneys, teachers, and everyone in between about the need for sensible marijuana policy in our state. And guess what? The majority of Texans already agree with us. In fact, according to a recent Pew Research Center poll, there is no majority support in this country among any demographic for jailing pot smokers anymore. Dissect the data by age, race, or even political allegiance, and you'll see that there is solid support for even the most modest step of decriminalization of marijuana. So why are we still jailing hundreds of thousands of people every year for possessing or growing or selling this plant? Why are law enforcement officers literally incentivized to go after low-level drug offenders and not more violent criminals? I believe that the possession of small amounts and modest amounts of marijuana for personal use should not be subject to jail time anymore in the state of Texas. Do we agree? I believe that responsible cannabis consumers should not be discriminated against any more than a beer drinker or a tobacco smoker. And we certainly should not have to risk losing our jobs, our children, or any of our hard-earned assets every time we consume a substance that we all know is far safer than alcohol, tobacco, and prescription drugs. I believe that our hemp heritage has been stolen from us. People have been using cannabis as a medicine in this country since the 1850s, and this too has been stolen from us. Ask yourself, why would my government not want me to grow a plant that has been shown to kill cancer cells in petri dishes since the 70s? Why would this same government own a patent on the medicinal utility of cannabis while simultaneously classifying it federally as a Schedule I substance with no acceptable medical value? It's a sham. I also believe that mandatory minimum sentencing for the nonviolent drug offenders in this country needs to end immediately. In this country, if you commit a violent crime, arson, or even rape, a judge will determine all the facts in the case. They'll consider your criminal record if you even have one. And they'll consider a lot of different evidence before sentencing you to prison. But if you are caught selling or growing marijuana, well, there are mandatory minimum sentences. These are involved at the federal, even the state level, and these mandatory minimums take the power out of a judge's hand, and it turns it into a Chinese takeout menu, a marijuana plant from column A within 1,000 feet of a school from column B. Well, that's 10 years with no parole, please. Marijuana prohibition hasn't protected the people of this country from drugs. It hasn't decreased the availability of the potency of drugs, and it certainly hasn't done much to squash the desire for drugs in this country, has it? This policy has failed the very people it claims to protect, and I believe it is high time we put prohibition out to pasture in the state of Texas. What do you think? I want to thank every one of you for being here today, especially the businesses. Being here and showing your faces, putting your logos out there. This is the best thing that we can do to show fellow Texans that there is nothing to be scared of anymore. That we are no longer content to simply be classified as criminals forever when it's the law that is the problem. It's not the plant, and it's certainly not the people. Today, we march with brothers and sisters from around the world in the Global Marijuana March of 2014. We march for the victims of the war on drugs that cannot be with us today because they are currently locked in a cage. We march for Texas patients that could benefit right this minute, not 6 months from now, not when it's convenient, not when it's politically popular, but right now from medical marijuana. And we're marching for the farmers, whom I believe will one day soon be growing glorious hemp once again in the great state of Texas. You know, our permit, and I should say permits, we have multiple permits to do what we're doing here today. But basically what they say is that we, the cannabis community, DFW NORML, we can be loud and proud today. So let's do a quick sound check, Texas. That was pretty good. But let me say this. Now, if you believe that marijuana legalization is not only coming but possible in the state of Texas, then let me hear you make some noise! Let this march of what I hope is at least 1,000 Texans strong serve as official notice to our policymakers in this state that we are no longer hiding in the cannabis closet, quietly whispering about the need for legalization. Oh no! We are the majority now. We are the marijuana majority, and we are mighty. Together, we march for the liberation of cannabis. Are you with me, Texas? It's 4:15. It looks like it's time for a march. Are you ready to march? Texas, I want you to be loud today. I want you to be proud. I want you to wear your shirts and signs. I want you to scream. I want you to raise your flags. I want you to make sure that everybody who sees this coming, hears it coming, knows exactly what we're about today. We are about legalizing marijuana in Texas. This right here should not be a crime. Am I right? This right here has the potential to save lives. It certainly has the potential to save some dollars. And gee, it may actually, I don't know, make some money like is happening in Colorado. You know, Texas is doing okay economically, I guess, but I think we could use a few $1 million in extra tax money to go to schools. How many people right here would vote on something like that right now? then after today, I don't want you to stop being loud, Texas. I want you to find out who your representatives are, and I want you to be relentless. And I want you to make them understand that marijuana legalization is coming to this state. And if they are inclined to keep their jobs, that they should maybe take a sensible opinion on the topic of at least medical marijuana. Hold these representatives responsible for what they're saying and what they're not saying about marijuana. It takes you. It takes all of us. Are we going to be loud and proud today? Are we going to be loud and proud tomorrow? Then Texas, let's march. We're marching north on Throckmorton to the Tarrant County Courthouse. Let's do this, Texas! Herb's the word. See you down there.